way to the chiropractor yet again. Yes, I am. I didn't make it there on Monday. He's out towards where I used to live on Mondays and Thursdays. And then he's at his other place. It's further away, but it's where I used to live, so it's probably about a half hour, 40 minutes, but he's well worth it. So that's where I'm going. So today I wanted to talk to you about sleep. That's something that I do not get very much of, and has a lot to do with chronic pain. The fact that with my back situation, I have not slept in an actual bed for at least 8 years. I sleep on a recliner, and it's not the same recliner. I've gone through recliners over the years. I always buy them on Marketplace used, but this last one I got it's newer, and it is a lift chair, and I don't need the lift chair, but I don't need to be lifted up because I'm not that bad. Oh, God forbid. But the lift chair, it's electric. Put your legs up and you can go back, but I can't lay flat. I just can't. Whenever I go for like an MRI or something, just laying flat to me feels like laying on a whole bed of Legos, and it is painful. But it's hard not, being married for so long and not being able to sleep with my spouse. I mean, my hubs sleeps with the doggies, but I just can't do it. So I was talking to Lexi from Alexis Milner's station. You should try looking at her channel. She's really wonderful, very inspiring. But so shout out to Lexi girl. So I was talking to her about that, and I have that degenerative disc disease, and nobody wants to touch my back. There's nothing else they can do for me, and I'm 59 years old, and I feel my body is just like so old, but in my mind, I think I can do stuff, and I try to, but it just sets me back. But thank God I have a chiropractor who knows what he's doing. So, back to the sleep. I get, and I'm not kidding you, 2 to 3 hours a night. And I walk around in the fog. My husband worries about me driving, but I'm alert. I would never drive if I didn't think I could. But I cannot sleep. And when people are like, oh, I only got 5 hours sleep last night, I'm just like, damn, I wish I could get 5 hours sleep. But this morning I did go back to sleep for about an hour more, so I think I got like 4 hours, which is a big thing for me. So I'm functionable today. So been trying to get out of the house in order to go to the chiropractor, but I shot a video of my dogs, my babies, got into some trouble and ruined some props I had done for this challenge that I'm preparing to do, and I clean up that mess. But whenever I get a lack of sleep, and you're tired and you're cranky, but really nobody would know that with me, because I always put on a happy face. I've never brought an argument that my husband and I may have had. Believe me, after 40 years of marriage, we've had arguments. But I don't take that out into the world. And the lack of sleep, too, has also put a lot of strain on my life, a lot of strain on my body. And it has put me into a depression at times, where I feel like I'm just down in this black hole, and I can't get out of this hole, and I'm just trying to get out of there. And sometimes I feel like I get out of there and someone comes along and just pushes me back down into that hole. But this lack of sleep all started when Matthew, my youngest, moved to Texas. And I'm very close with my kids, and it was just like a part of me was gone. And I worry. I should be a warrior for God, but I'm a worrier. And my husband always tells me, if you're going to worry, then don't pray. If you're going to pray, then don't worry. I'll tell you that again. If you're going to worry, then don't pray. But if you're going to pray, then don't worry. So I know that, but I just worry. It's just part of me, okay? But I always put on a happy face. I don't take it out into the world, excuse me, and ruin someone else's day. That's the way it should be. People are driving to work. They had a miserable morning. They were up late last night and they didn't get enough sleep, and they're cranky, and they're driving on the parkway. Here in Pittsburgh it's called the parkway because you park on it, you don't really drive. But so, and then they're pulling in front of people, and then must have an accident and trying to ruin someone's day. I mean, does that really make them feel better? I don't know. I don't do that, so I don't know. But that's the same thing, like whenever people do, rude comments on the videos and things like that, or make a rude comment to someone, or give a cashier a hard time. So you don't need to make those rude comments. But if they do make those rude comments to you, you got to just let it slide off your back. See, I'm reading this, I have an Audible version, but I'm going to get the printed version of Mel Robbins' new book. It came out on, I had it pre-ordered. I think it came out on Christmas Eve, and I've been listening to it, but I take my time, and if I listen to something and I didn't quite get it, I'll listen to it again. But I want to get the hard copy so I can go with my teacher highlighter and all that and take notes and stuff. Because I've redone a lot of her books. She has a lot of books out, and I just love her philosophy on things. But she has this new book called Let Them, and it just makes so much sense. And if you have a chance, check out this book. It's called Let Them by Mel Robbins. Anything by Mel Robbins is really awesome. I highly recommend her. She has a podcast too, but sometimes I don't really get into the podcast when she has like doctors and stuff on there, and they don't do it in layman's terms, so it's like above my head. But I just love listening to her. And this book, it's just, if someone doesn't want to take your advice, let them. If they want to be miserable in their life, let them. You just can't be worried about everybody else, and that's something I really need to learn, because I worry about my children, even though they're in their 30s, and I don't know, I really got to work on that. I need counseling or something. So, but true story, I went to a counselor, a therapist, physical therapy. I've done the physical therapy too, but I went to a therapist a long time ago, and I thought, okay, I'm going to give this a try and try to work out my discrepancies, and talking it out with someone who doesn't know me. So I went to her a couple times, and a couple times I kept thinking, is she sleeping? And I just let it go. And then the one time I sat there and I was talking about something, and I saw her head go down, and she had her pen in her hand, and she I swear she was sleeping. So I stopped talking and I timed it on my watch, okay, because I'm paying for this meeting, this session, and it was a good 3 minutes. She did not say a word. I did not say a word. She didn't even look up at me. And I said to her, hello, were you sleeping? And she's like, no, I wasn't sleeping. And I said, well, we've been sitting here for 3 minutes. She goes, oh, I just thought that you were thinking. And I was like, okay. So I just went on with the session, and after that, I called, and I had said to the main counselor from there, I think there's something wrong with her, because the last couple times she fell asleep on me. Maybe she has sleep apnea or something, and she needs to get some extra sleep or something. Or maybe I'm just like tremendously boring in my life and my troubles. I had a little bit of a complex there, but I don't know. So I guess the boss of the place talked to her about it. Do you know that she called me and was screaming at me, how dare you go to my superiors and this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, well, wait a minute. You should not be confronting me like this. This is very unprofessional of you. So she just, went on. And then I called back and told her superior, I said, I'm not coming back there. That woman's crazy. So I said, you told her about what I said, and she called me and just, tongue lashed me very badly. So that was my experience with the therapist. And ever since then, I'm just like, wow, I don't know if I want to go to one, but it's probably just her. But it's crazy how people can affect you, and sometimes you just got to let it go. Just let it go. I can't remember what it was yesterday, and I don't know what it was, but I just didn't let something happen, and I was like, you know what, I'm not even going to let this happen. Oh, I know what it was. I got some stuff from Amazon that was delivered. The box was perfectly fine, but the stuff inside it was damaged, and the company saying, well, once it mails out, it's out of our hands. And I'm trying to tell them, but it wasn't the box that it was shipped in that was damaged. It was the stuff inside. So somebody from your company boxed it up to be mailed damaged. It wasn't anything to do with UPS or anything. So I was talking to the person on Amazon, and I was pleasant as can be to him, and he was just so surprised, and he thanked me and said, thanks for, I said, why would I want to ruin your day? Why would I let it ruin my day? It's going to be taken care of. Believe me, it's going to be taken care of, because it's going to be taken care of. But we started talking, this little guy from India, and we were talking, and it ended up, because I talk a lot to people and I get to know people, strangers. I could be at a store and Daryl would know if I was gone 2 hours. He would know that I'm okay, because I just start talking to people and strangers. There's no stranger danger here with me. But it ended up that he was talking about his mom was a gynecologist and in India, and that he went to school, he was 23. But listen to this, I was telling him that my husband works for 3 brothers from India in the computer business, and he asked me what the name of it was, and I told him, and he says, oh, I said, I know one of them changed their name to Paul, and he goes, yeah, Mukesh works there. And I was like, wait, you know them? And he's in India, and we're here in the United States. That is so wild that he actually knew, Daryl's boss. It was just like, wow, really? So, yeah, small world it is, huh? Small world. So, sometimes when we have these videos we put out, we post these videos, we don't really think about that they go to different countries and things like that, and people watch us all over the world. But that's what happens. But sleep is something that you really need to get, and not taking it out on everybody else, moods and that. I have a lot of trouble with the depression, but that's not the topic today. Sleep is, and my doctors have given me everything, every medication there is, and even the Ambien, It'll get me to sleep, but Ambien is known for not keeping you asleep. So anytime I take that, it's 2 hours. Everything's 2 hours for me sleeping. Even when I had my hip done and I had those oxycodone, that would only let me sleep for 2 hours. And it's just, I can't get any freaking sleep. It's my mind does not shut down. It's going. Now that I'm doing YouTube, it's going about that. And I'm taking notes on that. With ideas. And then I have all my decluttering. Then I'm trying to start a business. I'm worried about that. I'm worried about getting an income for these businesses and, investing in the products that I'm trying to sell. It's like, and then wanting to make sure that, because I'm such a perfectionist, so anything that comes from me, like my teaching, everything, I always made sure my students knew everything they needed to know and more. But so things that I'm trying to put out for that, everyone's like, oh, that's so nice, the resin stuff that I make. And I'm just like, no, there's some bubbles in there. I want it to be perfect. And I know that this world doesn't have anything that's perfect, but I just want to satisfy the customer so they return. Because that's important for, being in a company or having a company and putting out products so people are happy with what they paid for. Because earning money is hard these days, You make a little bit of money and then it's gone, It's like you might get your paycheck put in the bank, but by the end of that day, you pay your mortgage or your rent, you pay your, water bill, your other bill, this bill, that bill. And I know with us, it's gone. There's barely enough money left for food after we pay for everything and then buy the dog food and the cat food and everything. So, it's just rough. So sleep is something that I don't get, and I really would love to just sprawl out on a bed and go to sleep. But I don't know, is anybody out there having trouble with sleep? I mean, insomnia is a really horrible thing. It's just, there's been days where I literally walk into walls and I just keep pushing myself and Daryl keeps saying, why don't you go take a nap, And I said, what are you doing, trying to get rid of me? And he's like, no, but you need to get some rest, Sal. And I'm just on my feet all day long, doing, because when I taught kindergarten, there was no time to sit down. So I don't want to, I'm just used to being on the move. And whenever I wake up and I'm in such bad pain and I try to fight it, and like this morning, I did force myself to go back to sleep. I just have to learn to do that. And I have sleep apnea, so I also need to wear that mask, which I'm guilty of not doing that. And I do get a much better when I do sleep. I don't sleep, wake up as much. Because the whole way that I found out that I had sleep apnea, we were on a camping trip, and Maddie was, he might have been like 11 or 12, and he says, Mommy, I gotta talk to you about something. And because we slept in the camper with my parents, and he says, I gotta talk to you about something, it's really important. So I said, okay, honey, what is it? He says, when you're sleeping, sometimes you snore. I said, I'm sorry. And he says, no, there's times where you do that, and then you stop breathing, and then you're gasping for air. And I said, I do? And he said, yeah, you actually stop breathing, and I have to nudge you, and then you gasp for air. And I'm like, wow. So I had no idea. How are you supposed to know that, right? And so I did eventually go get tested for sleep apnea, and I stop breathing when I sleep. So even after I had taken off a lot of weight, I still have sleep apnea because I have a deviated septum and things like that. In fact, Maddie and I both have that, and we were going to go together because they have to like break your nose and then fix that. We were both going to go together one summer and just get it done, and then we could recover together, but we never did do that. So I'm just trying to say, sleep is so important. Guys, if you can get some sleep, go to bed early. Don't stay up on the lives and chit chat. Miss Bestie Dash. I love you, Jess. I know sometimes we get distracted by technology and things like that, and they say that you shouldn't have that on for half hour to an hour before you go to sleep. So I know we get distracted. I do as well. But let's all try to get some sleep and be happy. and you know, be nice to people. Don't try to take out, you know, your frustrations on other people, and be kind, and don't put rude comments, because that's just not nice. Okay? Okay.